So the other day I went out and went to the Dollar Tree and I picked up a Mason's jar. And in that mason jar, it has a candle. You drop it in there and it lights up and it creates light. So what I did was I wanted to find something that we could cook on the run with. So what we did was figured it'd be a good little project. I just want to show you kind of what we did. So we took the top of the Mason's jar and we cut it with some grooves. The candle goes in here. We took a can, cut holes in the bottom. This now fits on the top. And then we grabbed a bigger can. You can use any size, but bigger can. And this actually sits on top of that. If you put water in it, soup, whatever, that candle now will warm up this can, hypothetically speaking. So let's give it a try. This is the first run with it, so I don't have a tripod or anything like that, so just bear with me. So the candle's in there, it's lit. We now take it, put it to our can, drop it into the can. Wait a minute. This is cold water from the fridge, so we'll actually wait and see how long this takes to warm up. Won't use a lot, but with that candle catch, comes through the bottoms, air. Put this on top. And now we wait. And I'll do another video after when I find out if it actually worked, okay? So it looks good so far though. Staying lit. And let's hope that this heats up enough to boil that water and just kind of see how long it takes. Now this is obviously going to take a while, it's a candle, but the heat only goes up and it escapes just a little bit out from the bottom, let the air go in, water warm up, you know, and it's really just meant to sit there and it also acts as heat too, so you can actually feel the heat coming out a little bit from the sides here, and you'll heat, light, and boil water all at the same time, or soup or whatever, and you don't have to do anything but light that candle up. So just a pretty cool little thing we thought about, and we'll just let you know how it goes. About 5 minutes and I have felt the can and it's warm. You can still touch it, but it's, you know, it's warm to the touch. There is heat coming out of the sides a little bit, so I might think about only maybe putting 2 holes in there. And also, you see there's bubbles starting to form. It is warm. It's not hot water, but it is warm water. And you can see it's kind of starting to bubble up a little bit. So I'll just kind of see, it's not so hot that I can't touch the can, but there's plenty of light in there. That's still burning in there. Wax is melted, wick's still burning. There's still enough wax in there to keep the candle burning until this is boiled, I think. But so I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but I think we're probably about 10 minutes in, I guess. Candle's holding up. It's in there. It's still lit. It's going. And we now have, it's not a rolling boil, but we have steam. This water that was in there originally came directly from the fridge. So, you know, in 10-15 minutes, I guess, you know, it was, now we have actual steam coming from it. So, you know, you could imagine if I maybe put a hole on the side, take out 2 of these holes from here, because I have 4 in here right now. So if I take out 2 of them and just leave 1 or 2 maybe, I think 1 would even be possibly good enough. But I was thinking maybe if I cut a hole here and put a little piece of tin on it from the piece I cut, and have it so this opens and closes in here from right this area, I could actually use it also as a lamp to light up the existing, like the outer area of whatever I'm doing. Yes, I'll lose some heat, but at the same time I'll be able to see and do whatever. So I'm just kind of adding to this. This is the beginning of something. I don't know what yet, but we're working on it. It's just something for me and the kids to mess around with. And all it is just a little tea light. You know, those things are pretty cheap. You get them from the dollar store even. But it's burning and it's heating, so you can see that. But what I'll do is I'll let you see when it starts boiling. If it gets to a rolling boil, I'll do another video and show it. So what I did here now, guys, is there was a little bit of a flaw. I forgot to cover it with a lid. So what ended up happening is it heated really good. The candle's kind of getting low in there, but it's still burning. But this time, I'm going to let this go now and just show you what so far has happened. It heated up really well. There's actually steam coming out and everything. There's moisture. There's condensation. It's not a rolling boil. And I have a feeling there's a few things. One, I put in freezing cold water from the fridge. I wanted to just see how long it would take. It's taking quite a while. Probably say about 25 minutes or so. Candle's still going though, you know, so if I were out somewhere, I would just, that'd be okay if I was just going to kind of do a slow boil. The other thing is that this is hot. It's just not a rolling boil. But it is definitely hot. I can touch it still. Can's hot, but I could definitely move it around. Again, there's some things that I'm going to change. But what I want to do on my next test is I want to put a lid on it. I have a feeling that if I had that candle started, I didn't put in freezing cold water, and I put a lid on it, this would actually come to a rolling boil a lot faster. You know, I'm thinking like if I were to have to pull water out of a pond or a lake or something like that and throw it in, that's why I wanted to test it with the cold water. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another test. This will be a part of the video, and we'll kind of see how it goes from there. We're going to give it another try. I feel that we can do better, so I've modified that can and I added a couple different things, took away from it, and I'll just show you what it looks like now. So it's pretty much the same deal. These are the tea lights that I'm using. They're just plain tea lights. They're like 10 cents or something each. The last one that we did, this is how much we actually used of that. We actually used most of it. There's still, you know, that could have went on for another 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes. But, you know, it did pretty good. Considering that was going for about an hour, I think. No, probably about a half hour, I guess. Maybe something like that. Anyways, so what I did was, this was the original can. And I had the 4 holes on the sides. I think we were losing some heat there. It didn't quite come to a rolling boil. It did heat up, put some condensation on the lid of the can. This one here. So what I want to do now is I went and got another can. And in this one, I just added in the tea light holder that I cut. See, I just grooved out the top. I just cut off the top there, and I don't know if you can see that okay. Can you see that? Probably better. So I just basically made it so as if something's dragging on it, it's actually going to catch instead of the can falling off. And with this one, I added just the one single hole at the bottom. So we shall see now. Sorry, washed it out. So this is just a mushroom can. We're going to try it again. So let me get my matches. Get a candle. If anybody's got any more ideas, you know, like feel free to write them down on the comments if you're watching this video. This is all new for me. I'm just messing around, you know. I've not done a whole lot of videos when it comes to prepping, but you know, over time we get better. So I'm learning how to do, you know, the making movies and all that other stuff to put on my channel. So as I'm going along, I'm doing that. Okay, so I'm gonna light this up. Bear with me. Okay. Give that a second to take. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if that one hole will make a difference. I'm pretty sure it will. I just hope it doesn't. It leaves enough air in there for it to stay going. So we will take the candle, bring it over, and just drop it on top. It just dangles there. Then we want to get our water. So what I did with the water is it's not like right out of the fridge this time, but it is pretty cold. So we'll just kind of fill it up to the same amount it was before. I know that we could add more. It's, you know, what's the point really? You know, obviously with less, it actually would probably boil more into a roll. So we'll leave it at this much, which is probably about up to what? It's about there on the can, so where that is, right there. Okay, so let's get this on. It holds pretty good. I think if I could find a way to maybe bend those down a little more so that it's more like directly in the middle, I think we might be a little better. Now last time I didn't put the lid on, so this time we're going to put a lid on, and we will sit and we will wait, and hopefully that candle is going to stay burning in there, and I'm pretty sure it will, because it's still got the air up underneath. I don't know if you can see that, right under there. So let's just leave it now, and I'll time it, and I will do another update once we see what happens, and however long it takes. Maybe it'll boil, maybe it won't, but we'll see. Thanks for watching. Well, here we go again. So basically what happened was that last one, I could just tell it wasn't going to go to a rolling boil. So I decided that this time I'm just going to stop it. No point in just taking all that extra time. And what I'm going to do is I actually messed around with it some more. So we're basically adding on to this. So we got this big can of tomatoes. This is the lid to the tomatoes that I cut out. I cut out the middle of that lid. I put that lid back onto the tomatoes. So there's a seal up above. So basically what happened is now I have my candle holder from that mason jar. I'm going to install the candle again. And then what we're going to do is light this candle up again. Just give me 1 second. There we go. So we're going to light that candle up again. Okay. Straighten that candle out. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll take this candle, we're going to put it back into the can that we had with the one hole. I cut the top of this can shorter. I cut it off so it's less tall. And now what we'll do is we'll take that can and we'll bring it over to our big can. Give me one sec. That's a two-handed process there. Okay, so we dropped it down into the big can. So none of the heat is going to escape through that. It's going to bring it back to, oh, I feel that heat already. That's awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do is that small can is inside of the big can. The mason holder, tea light holder, is now down inside the small can with the one hole. Now we're going to take our water, which isn't boiled, and we're going to put it inside of that can, which fits on top of the other can. And then we'll put it to the side, make sure it's still lit. Put it down on top of it. And then we will put our lid on top of the can. And now we will leave it and see how it does. And I've got a feeling that this one is going to work a lot better. So there is a small gap in here, but that's okay because it needs air. And I think it should be okay now. So I will let you know after a little while here how it turns out. Okay, so I did a couple things. I put the exterior can here, cut a hole in that, have the inside can that I have two holes in. I have the mason jar tea light holder, which I bent so that it actually comes up further in the can now, so it's closer to the boiling can, which is right here. I have the lid on, and it's been in there for, not too long, I wouldn't say, but basically what I have now is this thermometer. See, it starts at right now it's at 70 degrees Celsius. So let's put it in and just see what the water is actually at. See, it's actually boiled. It didn't come to a rolling boil, but it's definitely hot water. It was at 70. So it's staying about there. So it's actually 70 degrees Celsius. And that's what our water's at. So I'm sure that if it was actually a full thing of water, that would actually go even hotter, because right now it's just basically it's just the tip. Just the tip of it that's in the water. So if it covered the whole thing, I've got a feeling it would have been pretty hot. So I'd say it's probably anywhere between 140 to 160. But it started out at 70, so we'll say 70 to 80 degrees Celsius. So now I'm going to check that out and just see what the water has to be at in order to actually be safe to drink if it's not a rolling boil. So I'll just show you. The can's pretty hot. I mean, there's definitely going to be some warmth there. If that's in a tent or something, it acts as a little stove actually. This is nice and warm. So it's actually pretty bright in there. And that's one tea light. And it's kept burning. I raised it up, bent it over a little, and that's what we have. So this just goes and sits right inside of there. So it works good. Now let's see if it works good enough to actually be safe to drink water in it. Thanks for watching. Any ideas? Leave a comment. Well, what I did now is I've been kind of keeping an eye on this here, and I'm just going to give you a temperature now. It's been burning for quite a while. I'm just going to take this lid off. We are at just under 80, so say 75. I'm going to drop it in. Okay, so as you can see, we're up to 100 degrees Celsius. That is plenty enough. It's at 85 degrees. It's enough to kill all pathogens. So we're actually we're at the right amount. And the way that I did this was, if you watch the video, you'll see I was kind of trying to explain how I'm going to be adding a tea light of our own. So I'm going to create these from Weebee Prepping, and what we'll do is we'll create our own candles, which will be 2-3 times the size of these really, and it'll still fit in these tea light containers. Obviously it'll be a bigger container to hold this, the wax and whatnot, but yeah, but instead of having just the one little piece in there, the one wick, I'm going to add 3 wicks, maybe 4, who knows. And it's just going to work amazing. I know that the heat is going to be it's going to be really quick as far as heating things up. But the can is really hot. Both cans are really hot, so this is going to be a great heater too. Once I figure everything out and I add some more stuff, there's some more things that I want to do to this. I had a few ideas. So just to give you an example here, what I did was I did add 2 candles. I added 1 candle. This one's just about done. But I added 1 candle, 2 wicks in a tea light. It's burning like amazing right now, as you can see, and it's really heating things up. So, I mean, it's awesome. So, if we add 3 wicks in there, it's going to go great. So we'll just leave it at that, and if you want to extinguish it, really, I've kind of created it so you just got to turn the can, and what it does is it turns underneath here. It'll turn the inside can to the side, and it'll just extinguish. As you can see, the smoke is done. So obviously that's from the wick that's still burning, but once you turn that can inside, it extinguishes the flame and you're good to go. So it's kind of got its own shut off too. Lots more stuff I got to do to this, and just stick with me, and we'll check it out after. Thanks guys for watching, and just subscribe and comment.